Pull up a stool and pour yourself a pint as you're about to join three intrepid drinkers, Kevin, Justin, and Mark, as they embark on another Beertastic voyage.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Beertastic Voyage. My name is Kevin.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Justin, and I'm basic.
Yes, you're very basic today. Mark has his vest on. I forgot my scarf, but Justin is wearing leggings, so we're all set
Yes.
to celebrate our Basic White Boy Month as we down 10 different pumpkin beers from all over the place. Mostly from Long Island, but
I thought we had 8.
8. I thought there were 10. I want there to be 10.
Yeah.
Because it's like the best. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can get more and
We could.
drink more. There are more out there locally.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We definitely could have picked up more than this. That's the other bonus to this. With the exception of one, they're all local.
Yeah.
But the other one's from a local friend, so we'll let that one slide.
Yeah, so we're doing our pumpkin beer episode, probably episodes for the year. We've talked about a few different pumpkin beers in the past. Everybody knows my obsession, raging hard on the leaf pile,
Yes.
which we don't have today because we've had that more than once on the show, I think. At least twice.
At least,
Yeah, baby. I mean, once probably felt like twice, because sitting this close to you while you drink it is just dangerous for everyone.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just remember how he had the question his faith when we had the squash buckler last year, though.
Oh, true.
Yeah, the
True.
swashbuckler is delicious. And that is back this time.
Yes.
Yes, we have that one back. So let's just do a quick rundown. We have the West Hampton Beach pumpkin beer. What else do we have, Mark?
We got
They're all facing you. So
We've got squash buckler from Brick House. We've got Effin' Pumpkin from 1940s. We've got Pumpkin Out from Po' Boy, as well as Jacked Up from Po' Boy. We've got Mother Pumpkin Ale from Blue Point. We've got All Hallows Eve from Spider Bite. And finally, we've got Voodoo Rangers special release Atomic Pumpkin from New Belgium.
So we've got a pretty good collection, and not that I've had some of these, but not all of them. And one of the things that appeals to me about pumpkin beers is that every brewery does their own take on it. Because there's no official guidelines or official definition of what a pumpkin beer has to be, you get this really wide variety. So sometimes you get ones that are made out of, like, we were talking, like, out of an amber ale, and sometimes you have ones that are
Or like
all sorts of different
1940s is Saison.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a Saison.
That's the coolest part about that.
Yeah.
You take a base style, essentially, to make
Take
a pumpkin
any beer,
and add some nutmeg, some
add
clove, and
pumpkin.
allspice.
Some spice.
Yeah.
You got a pumpkin.
You don't even need to add pumpkin, really.
And that's the thing. That was going to be my next point. Like, some of them do have that squash pumpkin flavor, but most of the time when you hear like pumpkin beer, they're probably not going to taste like the squash. They're going to taste more like pumpkin spice,
the flavor,
right?
Yeah, the spice is
cinnamon,
the predominant flavor.
allspice. Those kind of nutmeg, those kind of flavors.
Yeah, when you ask someone what a pumpkin tastes like, if you literally say, "What does a pumpkin taste like?" they usually respond with those answers, not realizing that when they're eating something like that, that's just the spice they added.
But
I honestly didn't really know that until I started hanging with you guys.
Yes.
So, just basic white guy.
well, I really like you can treat pumpkin just like you would any other winter squash. So like if you roast it and stuff like
Is
that,
it blank canvas?
yeah, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
It really sings. It really sings. No, you guys like squashes as much as I do. So
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do.
have I ever told you
a
about?
large pile of butternuts upstairs?
Have I ever told you about the really stoned essay I wrote freshman year in college about squash?
No.
No, yeah,
Oh.
that does not ring a bell.
So it's Com 100, so it's like a useless fucking course,
Oh yeah.
right? And I'm there.
It's like intro on how to talk.
Right. So I got blazed out of my mind in my dorm room. I'm hanging out, and I started writing this whole thing. And the basic premise of it was that, like, you don't really, when you look at things, you don't see everything all at once. You pick out individual things, and then your brain puts it all together, right? So we use the analogy of looking at, like, a fruit stand, and you see all the different fruits and vegetables all over the place, and you pick out the ones that are there. So me being in this state starts going off onto some random tangent about how if you're a fan of squash or squash enthusiasts, as I wrote about 12 times in the paper, that your brain would naturally go to those things first as opposed to the other ones, and that this would be formed by your upbringing rather than your own free will. And I was just like, what the? It made perfect sense at the time.
The funny thing is, when you say squash enthusiast, I just think of like a 1980s banker from like American Psycho playing squash.
Hey, I got a B+ on it. It was cool.
Actually, B+ is the perfect grade.
Yeah.
You put in enough work where everyone knows that you were trying, but you didn't go so crazy that you wasted an extra like double the amount of time getting the A.
This was all stream of consciousness typing, just go and then come back the next morning and just format it so that it's in a couple paragraphs and be done. Like, that was squash enthusiasts.
Excellent.
That was weird.
You should try to find that. You should have held on to that.
I don't know what happened to it, but one thing that I have held on to is this beer, and we're starting with the West Hampton.
The Hampton Pumpkin.
Yeah, the Hampton Pumpkin, which we've talked about when we talked about West Hampton. I'm sure I mentioned it that the head brewer there, Dave, used to be the brewer at John Harvard's Brew House. Rest in peace. All right, and one of the greatest beers they had was their pumpkin spice beer. My wife and I, we got a keg of it. We served it at our wedding, and then we took it back to the hotel and finished drinking the keg in the hotel lobby, as you guys were a part of.
Yes.
And this is that beer, and I'm so happy it's back. It went on like a 3-year hiatus, and now it's back, and I'm so very happy for it to be back.
Yeah, I remember drinking it at your wedding and enjoying it, but at the time, and especially when John Harvard's was around, I didn't know what the heck I was drinking, so I barely paid attention. I would go get a flight to look cool at John Harvard's. I didn't know what I was doing. But it's probably the most standard pumpkin beer I've had, but in a good way. Like when you think pumpkin beer, like this, it hits all those notes. It's got a nice, like a very deep copper color. The head stayed around for a while. The carbonation on it allows the spices to really kind of flow up into my nose when I smell it. It's outstanding. And it's only 4.3% alcohol, so you can drink a keg of it in a hotel lobby and not get kicked out.
Yeah. Fact, we did.
According to the website, the spices are nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger, which is one of the reasons why I like this beer, because there's no added clove.
Well, that's the thing, because you said allspice, right? Because you said there's clove and allspice.
Well, allspice contains one of the compounds that's in that is the predominant flavor of clove.
Okay, all right, I see what you're saying.
Now you're talking the chemical compounds.
The chemical compounds, yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty certain allspice is like a separate entity, like
it is,
creature. But not creature, plant. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, it is, but allspice has the
yeah.
same flavor compounds in it that cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove have. And lesser degrees of those three things separately.
And what's interesting to me about that is when I made the pumpkin beer, Mark couldn't stand it because it was essentially a clove bomb, and it was.
Right.
But now I kind of get why, because there was allspice and clove, and there's a fair bit of both in there. And now that I know that I can sort of drop the clove, I'm interested to make it again. I didn't make it this year because I really didn't dig it, and I never had time to make it a pumpkin beer.
There's a competition coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't going to enter a pumpkin beer because I'm pretty sure they don't do that well.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, yes. Well, you're not. No. You're specifically entering not a pumpkin beer.
That's true.
Yeah.
I use sweet potatoes, not pumpkin.
Exactly.
I love this beer.
Yes.
I'm so happy that it's back. I love the maltiness to it. I think even if you took the spices out, it would probably be a pretty tasty beer, like just on its own.
Oh yeah,
it would probably be a nice, a light brown. Or if you replace the spices with a hop to give it a little bite back, like it'd probably still be in love with it. But the base for it is delicious.
Yeah, it's got good caramel, sweet notes, a little bit of like toasty crust.
Mm-hmm. But at no point does it really like overwhelm you to the point.
No, and again, that goes back to it. Like, I definitely taste the spices, but at the same time, they're done deftly to the point where they're not overwhelming my palate.
Yes, I would like a little bit more spice because I tend to want it to be sort of an over the top experience with the spice. But I from a beer connoisseur perspective, like a beer snob perspective, I appreciate the fact that the beer is forward. It's not just sort of like like a mixed drink for someone. It's more of a beer experience than it is a sweet beverage experience.
Well, of course, if you want the sweet beverage experience, you can always just do the rim job on the glass, which
So Mark Twitch a little bit.
Yeah. We're not going to dive into today because we've hashed that out a few times.
Yes, we have.
But I'm sure that's something you could do if that pleases you. I will leave it at that. Are we going to rate these guys, or do we want to like stack them all out and rate them against each other? How do we want to do this?
Let's rate them. I'd like to rate them how we do straight up. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, we rate them individually and then declare our favorites.
We can declare our favorites. Yeah, that's true.
I've been staying up late with the baby, and I've been watching the Great British Baking Show. So
yes.
they always stack it out and go
Right.
like, this one was last, this one's next last, and then, okay, these last three are like, you're closer.
Right.
That's the only reason it ran into my head right now. I'm sorry.
I like that show.
It's oddly pretty good, and they're all amazingly nice to each other, which I don't understand.
Oh, yeah, that's like the opposite of every other, like American reality television.
Yeah, I was watching it, I'm just like, if an American was on the show, they would just kick him off the first week, just him or her off the first week, just because. So
you know why it's called the Great British Baking Show in the country, right?
No,
Instead of the Great British Bake Off, which is what it's called in
it's
the
called
UK.
the Bake Off.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because Pillsbury, or whatever
Oh,
company owns Pillsbury now, owns the trademark on the word Bake
Bake
Off.
Off
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Or copyright.
Yeah.
One of those two things.
Gotcha. I love this beer so much, and I'm afraid that I may throw this out there more than once today, but this one's a keg for me, and it's been a keg in my life for real, and I really do love this beer. And
For at least 3 years.
And it really is a beer that I used to look forward to every year at John Harvard's, and now that I know it's back, I'm going to be making the trek out east to get it, so it's a keg for me, hands down.
It is also helpful that they canned it, so.
Yes, I'm super excited that they canned it.
Keep it around for a little longer.
Maybe. When Rachel, even when Rachel found out that like that's what that beer was, she said, "Oh, we got some, right?" I'm like, "Yes, don't worry."
Yeah.
So
I want to live.
So you gave Leaf Pile a keg as well, but if you had to, to kill
If I
which
had
one of these, which one of these are you gonna kill?
Which one am I gonna kill?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You're asking me to choose between children right now.
I know.
That's
I
really
know.
hard. I would probably go with this one over Leaf Pile because it's a little less sweet, making it more accessible year round, and across a wider variety. I love the sweet stuff, and I love that part, but I think this one is just that magical balance.
That's a fair point. I am going to give it a bomber.
Okay, very fair.
Yeah, I really enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's when it comes to a pumpkin beer, it's like the ideal pumpkin beer. I would want a little more sweetness to go along with the spice.
Right.
It's a fine for me. Like, I do enjoy it, but it's not. I mean, aside from your wedding, where I drank a lot.
Yeah.
Knowing you at weddings probably too much.
Listen, for that one, I cannot say what happened with that. I have no idea.
The only thing I vividly remember from your wedding is Henry in the.
Yeah.
He was drinking a fair bit of it with us.
He's drinking a fair bit of everything.
Yeah. So it's a pint for you.
Yeah, it's a pint for me. Like, I enjoy it, but like after that glass, I want to have something else.
All right. Well, we'll change it up for you with another pumpkin.
Yes. This is actually one of my preferred pumpkin beers.
Well, and this is also, we're sneaking this one in here a little too. This is technically going to be a total dickhead about it, not a pumpkin beer. It's actually
now that you guys are
squash beer.
certified beer dickheads.
No, I thought he used cheese pumpkins this year.
Oh, he did. You're right. Last year he did. No, that's true.
Why,
They
what
were
did he
cheese
use
pumpkins.
last year?
They were a different type of squash last
okay.
year, if I'm remembering correctly.
I believe you're correct.
But you're right. He did use. And the cool part about this is that they're Long Island pumpkins, which is why it's usually released later in the season than most other pumpkin beers. Well, that's also because everyone else are complete assholes and decide that they should release pumpkin beers like in fucking beginning of September. But
Or July.
Well, July is different. Seasonal creep is done on purpose to illustrate how stupid that is. So I'm down for that, and it's a fucking great beer. I didn't have any left. I would have brought some.
Yeah, I know, but in order for them to still be making a statement, it has to come out in June next year because the rest of them are out in August.
You're right. But they're out. It's out late because it's cheese pumpkins from Long Island. They're a legit Long Island.
Yeah,
pumpkin,
I think that's
awesome.
great. This is another one with that gorgeous amber color. Like
Yeah.
I really love the color.
I
of
don't
this.
envy Paul having to sit and cut up. I forget how many hundreds of pounds.
I'm hoping he had some minions helping.
Yeah, that
I'm pretty sure it was him.
Oh my
I don't
god.
know. I feel like you would have called in the kitchen staff for that one. Let's go, guys. We're gonna clean up some pumpkins.
The head on this
Yeah, it's
is
pretty gorgeous.
pretty epic.
Yeah, it's a nice cream-colored head to it. It's,
Yeah.
Like I poured mine with some vigor because it was the first of the crowler, so
Mhm.
I have a thick fluffy head on here.
Yeah, mine is that nice skim coat of solid bubbles.
Yeah, it doesn't leave. It's color wise, it's a deep amber, a little lighter than the West Hampton one.
120 pounds is on the website.
120 pounds of the cheese pumpkins.
Some cheese pumpkins, yep.
Wow.
Oh, this one's good.
The aroma, I don't get a lot of spice on the aroma. It's a very mild spice.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one, I think the malt comes more forward in the aroma.
I
than
get
the
more
spice.
of the caramel
Yeah.
sweetness.
But the spice is much more present in the sip.
Yes.
I smell the ginger on the nose.
Pardon me, sorry.
Yeah, and in the flavor, the ginger definitely is, to me, the predominant one. I'm sensitive to ginger in general, but it's definitely the predominant finish for me.
Yeah, and that might be part of the reason why I like this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, this one almost comes off like a kind of like a malty ginger ale.
Yes,
I was snacking on candied ginger all day at work today.
There you go. That with this would
because
be.
you're a psycho.
I'd be into that.
That's the thing is, I can have like a piece of candy ginger. If I have one piece, I'm good for like a week. Like I can recall the flavor. I can immediately
It's
taste
just
it on my
another
tongue.
way for me to assault my mucous membranes.
Yeah, I guess,
Like in
yeah.
addition to all kinds of chili peppers, like I can also add ginger in there too.
Yeah, I can't.
Candied ginger. That's one of those ones that I'm like, oh, I had one piece. Okay, I'm just gonna go one more. Like if I had it in my car, like
Oh,
if
really?
like if I did,
Oh.
like when I do, I'm just like, oh, a piece. Then I get in the car. I'm like, oh, here's another piece. Oh, I have another piece. All right, let me have one more before I go into the store. Like,
Oh,
so
yeah,
damn good.
not me.
it's delicious.
Um,
And this beer is delicious too.
It is.
We had some of this at Taps and Talons, correct? He was pouring this at
Yes.
Taps and
Yes, he
Talons?
did have this there.
And yeah, we were very excited about it there too. It's a good batch this year. Really good.
Yeah, no, it is one of my favorites.
now,
It's, I feel like you get a little bit of the honey that goes into this as well on the finish. And yeah, it's the website says it's got ginger, clove, star anise, and nutmeg and cinnamon in it. I don't get the star anise honestly, which is a good thing.
yeah,
because-
that's what I was gonna bring up. It's
It's not. I don't like licorice flavor.
me neither. And I mean, I think that it kind of leads into the ginger. Like if you follow it through as you're swallowing it, I think the star anise, a tiny bit of licorice kick hits you as the ginger finishes off your palate. But again, it's not a crazy amount. And
You might
it's
be
not-
right on
yeah.
that because I don't have that lingering licorice on my palate. Is
You know
why.
where I pick up the licorice just a little bit on the retro nasal, very much like at the end, right? As
Yeah.
if you blow out right at the end, I think you pick it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
I think it's a good addition, though. It kind of ties the
yeah,
flavors.
and it gives it a roundness to the flavor rather than just punch you flavors. It gives it a little bit more body in those spices to it.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, when you read those spices off, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna like that. That's not a thing I'm gonna like. But this is a prime example of something that where the sum of some of the parts is very different than each individual part.
But Star Anise is one of those ones that like it's part of that classic combo that we were talking about of those spice flavors that you think of in holiday smells.
Yeah,
Like that's a part of it. My mother would take a orange and stud it with cloves and like throw a piece of Star Anise in like a little bit of apple cider.
oh
And
yeah,
just put it on the stove and let it warm and just like let the aroma drift through the whole house, and it was like awesome.
that sounds pretty awesome.
And it would just smell, and just you walk in the door and you're like, oh my god, there's Christmas everywhere in my house. This is amazing. Yeah.
Now we heard with this one there's 120 pounds of pumpkin in here. Now I always wonder if there were 60 pounds of pumpkin in here or no pumpkin in here, would we have any idea? Like I would love to find out. I think that pumpkin could add mouthfeel. It's possible, like in theory. I just can't imagine pumpkin adding any real flavor, and I know that it doesn't really add any discernible fermentable sugar.
Well, I mean, as far as this one goes, the pumpkin might actually be having more flavor contribution than in others because this is whole pumpkins that
Or fresh.
are getting chunked and then roasted.
Yes, I thought, the roasted
So the
part,
roast is
that's
developing additional flavors
Yeah, that's good.
to be, imparted to the finished beer. Whereas if, it's just a can of pumpkin puree dumped straight into the mash tun, you're not gonna get that.
Yeah, it's kind of like toasting the oats before you put it into an oatmeal stout.
Right.
Essentially, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The other thing is when you're brewing with pumpkin, you can put it in almost anywhere. Like some people put it in the mash. When I made mine, I did that. Some people put it in the boil, and some people just throw it in the fermenter, which to me seems like the biggest, totally pointless activity, other than wanting to lose more beer and just generally hate cleaning your fermenter.
Yeah, I feel like the
I'm looking forward to asking Chris when we're at Dubco later in the month about that day.
Oh yeah,
I feel like in the mash would be the right spot for it.
yeah, that's where I put
Just
mine.
like in just thinking off the top of my head, I'm like that. Like I want to extract that flavor out of it. Like you got to cook it a little bit. That to me seems the right.
If
spot.
it's going to add anything to the beer, I think it's going to happen. It didn't in mash. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to become a different person, make an actual pumpkin beer, that's where you would put
I
it?
did make one once.
Yes, it was a long time ago, though. You're a different person now.
That's true. I'm much more old and bitter
Yes, exactly.
in the 4 years that have passed.
Yeah, I was going to say, in those 4 years, you've gone from...
Has leached a lot of joy out of you.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to get off my lawn is in full effect.
There you go. So what are you thinking on this one? Let's start with you, Mark. You were low on the last one. Where are you on Squashbuckler?
So I would definitely go bomber for Squashbuckler just because the ginger is more predominant and it's just a flavor that I like. I also like it's light and easy drinking. Definitely two places.
What's the ABV on it? 5.9.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, most pumpkin beers are going to be in a very drinkable territory.
Yeah.
Larry has to fuck everything up and just make it a 9, which is fine with me, but just in general,
Well,
like...
he did
yeah.
put the magic word imperial in front of it, so
He
it
did.
makes it okay.
Did.
What about you, Justin? What do you think?
It's going to be a bomber for me as well. I am not going higher because of the ginger, but I still really, really enjoy it. I would drink 2 of these at any point, ever.
I think I'm going to go probably with the, I'll make it a hat trick with you guys. I'll go with the bomber as well. Like, I could just grab one of these, and I think even not in the fall, I could go all year round with this and just be like, yeah, all right, just have one of these. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that this, from a spice perspective, is one of the more unique pumpkins, but it still doesn't stray so far from it that if you gave it to someone, they would, without question, say it's a pumpkin beer.
No, but at the same point in time, like that, sort of setting it apart really makes, when you give it to somebody, really makes them be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree with you. That's exactly the point that I wanted to make. It's not so far that it's not a pumpkin beer, but it's far enough where it's unique and stands by itself.
Yeah.
For the third one, we're going to go into 1940s, the Effin' Pumpkin, which is creeping up a little bit. This one's at the 6.6. This one's from 1940s Brewing Company.
Yes, this is one of my favorite pumpkin beers because of the base style. As we mentioned earlier, you can have a number of different base styles. Most of them are going to be an amber ale or something along those lines. A lot of times you'll see a stout. In fact, we're going to see one of those later. But as saison, as a pumpkin beer, it just makes so much sense to me.
Awesome.
Yep. Hence the vigorous pour on the last one.
It's a little
You got
full.
to tell them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
apologize about that, Mark.
Yeah, no, it's crowlers. I don't understand the physics, but it's definitely crowlers.
Yeah, it seems to be all of them. My other favorite part is, and I had this the other day from a crowler that my uncle got me from upstate. Sometimes the seal doesn't happen all the way around, and when the seal doesn't occur like directly in line with the opening of the can, all of a sudden it starts pouring out of the seam,
Yeah.
and you're like, how is this happening? Why is it going everywhere? Wow, the head on this one is fairly epic.
Yeah.
Well, it's a saison, and that was a Kevin just gave himself a judge's pour.
Well, yeah, a judge's pour from the ceiling, essentially.
Well, I kind of needed to because
He's practicing his Cedra technique.
I don't know what you just called me.
It's
I'm pretty certain I have to fight you to restore my honor now.
It's a Spanish-style funky cider
Okay.
that isn't carbonated. So, like, when they serve it to you from the bottle, they, like, pour it as far as they possibly can
That's awesome.
to, just get a little bit of something going on.
It's a little foam.
Just a little, aeration in there. But, you know what? I'm going to bring it up now that I'm using my new glass. Our buddy Phil, who's a beer ranger or whatever you call him, I forgot what. I don't know.
Brand manager?
He's like a brand ambassador, but they have a special name for it. I forget what. For New Belgium. He's a Long Island local. I'm sure some of you guys listening know who I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank on his last name, something with an E. But he was doing a promo at a local bottle shop, and I stopped in to pick up some beers and bought a sixer of the Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin. So I got a glass that was all engraved, and it's a nice big 2-ounce glass. And it's doing good for this, and I can fit my giant nose in it, so that helps too.
Yeah, it's not a pumpkin beer topic, but while you bring up Phil in New Belgium, the day after this releases, New Belgium is doing an amazing event at Hoptron and Patchogue, where their beer blender, whose her name is
Lauren Limbach.
Lauren Limbach. Okay, thank you. All right, you definitely know better than I do. Essentially, you're never going to meet another person who like her. Blending beer is a whole topic and a whole nother thing.
Blending sour beer.
Yeah, that just not many people in America do, let alone the world. So she's going to be there. There's going to be a bunch of beers on tap for flights that are probably never going to happen again, including the base falafel without anything done to it. So anyway, it's at 5 o'clock at Hoptron and Patchogue.
When is that?
Yes, Oscar. Friday, October 12th.
Friday is starting at 5.
Yeah, she'll be there from 5 to 8. So, I will definitely be there. Hopefully, some of the listeners will be there. If anybody else comes, come and grab me. I look like I do on this thing. Just find some ugly basic white guy. It's probably me.
I might have to be ill that day or something.
Yeah, well, come hang. And on that note, back to pumpkin beer. This smells like a saison with like a hint of nutmeg and cinnamon. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah. This one has that saison smell.
You called it. So we got pumpkin, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And then you get a little bit of cloviness from the Belgian yeast.
Yes. This is... Damn, son. This is outstanding.
Yeah, this is also like up there as far as my favorite pumpkins because it is so easy drinking.
Yeah, this is 6.6. I mean, 6.6 isn't that high, but I still wouldn't even register that as even close to that. It just goes down so easy.
Yeah, it's very digestible.
A little hint of the you get the clove, but I also get a little bit of the bubble gum from the Belgian yeast.
Yeah,
it sort of gives a little bit of sweetness, if that makes any sense.
That's what it is. That's throwing me off a little bit. The bubble gum to it. I'm like, all right, like we had a very, very pumpkin centric smell, and feel the first two, and this one with bringing that bubble gum in there is like there's something different. What's going on? And it kind of comes off to me almost in that sense of like when you brush your teeth if you use mint toothpaste, which this communist doesn't. But
nope.
But everybody else knows what the hell I'm talking about. You use a mint toothpaste, and the first thing you eat kind of has a little bit of a mint aftertaste. Like that's kind of the experience I'm getting with the bubble gum to this.
I can see that. I'm a big fan of that flavor. I drink a shitload of Belgian beers.
Right.
And I think that, again, if you were to tell me that you were putting pumpkin spices into a Belgian beer, I would be mad at you for fucking up a good Belgian beer. And also fucking up probably a good pumpkin beer at the same time. But this works fantastically. It's also, I mean, it fits a saison style so well. Like, it's so distinctly still a saison.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so I got to talk to John Brangle, who's the head brewer there, for a little bit when I went to pick this up. And he told me that, last year they brewed a 5-barrel batch because they weren't sure, how well it was going to sell. And they blew through that right quick, so they had to rebrew it another 5-barrel batch last year. So this year they just brewed one 10-barrel batch right off the get-go. And he told me that they really don't have a heck of a lot of it left at this point. So
Is that their full system, 10 barrel, or
I believe so,
full
yeah.
run? Okay.
Yeah, I think they should brew it again. I think they should brew it again. There's plenty of time to kick through it. I mean, pumpkin beers would sell no matter what. But I feel like you can legitimately sell pumpkin beers all the way through Thanksgiving and like still have people just trucking through them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you figure if they brew it, if they make it this week, it should be ready for Halloween.
Yeah.
And you should be able to use it for the month of November.
Yeah, the only thing that might dice that up a little bit is the saison factor.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
A little bit of time. I'm not sure how long if they just run it high and like turn it out or what to do.
I don't know. I didn't ask on that front, but I just thought that was interesting.
It is really interesting. It also, I mean, the pumpkin spice army. They're so big. Like I like it. I like all pumpkin things. I just don't get so amped up. It's also because I hate fall. Fall is the worst fucking time of year ever.
What was it? Somebody
You should sodomize yourself with that.
Some journalist. I forget
Awful.
what outlet it was. Slate maybe. Like they spent a month basically buying and using every pumpkin spice product
Oh God.
that they came across, including deodorant and
I think I saw something about that somewhere.
yeah.
I have one question that
Yes.
confuses me about fall. You are not a small person.
No.
Usually big guys are happy when the weather gets a little cooler.
Nah.
No?
No.
That is not you?
See, it's not even so much the weather. I love the temperature in fall.
Okay.
I don't mind it being, it's somewhere between 50 and 70. I
Right.
dig on that. That's awesome. I don't mind it being hot either. But what I hate about fall is all the shit that I like to do, other than drinking and making beer, stops. I
Okay.
can't play golf. I hate cold. I hate the cold. I hate snow more than anything.
Right.
I get
Well
days
established
off.
on a recent podcast.
Yeah,
Yes,
I get days off when it snows, and
Yeah.
I would rather go to work. I
Right.
fucking hate snow. Even if I didn't have to shovel it, I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I can
So
complain
it's
about
all
snow for
just
a
the
long
dread
time.
of snow coming that kills you.
It's mostly that, but it's also just I feel it's like a death. It's the death of fun. Not a lot of fun shit for me happens in the winter, other than beer-related activities, which are thankfully more plentiful now for me. So
There you
it's
go.
not that bad.
Okay.
Sorry,
No,
I
it's
got
okay.
a little crazy. I really, as you can tell, it's not even an act. I detest
Wow.
the fall and winter.
All right. Well, we know you don't detest this beer, so why don't we
No.
start us with a rating on it?
This is a growler, easy. I could drink this pretty much all the time. The only thing that would stop it from being a keg, oddly enough, is the thing I like the most about it, which is the saison character. I mean, you just can't, you can't pound saisons. The
No.
flavor builds up pretty quickly in your mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna drink 4 of these and be crazy happy.
Yeah. As Mark just muppets it back, what's your take on it?
I'm gonna second him on the growler for it. I really like it. It is really very drinkable, and I like the spicing on it, and that the saison yeast character is just something unique as far as pumpkin beers go. Enjoyable.
I will concur that it absolutely is unique. I think I'm just going to take one little step back, probably go with a bomber on this one, of saying I want a little more than one glass, or I want a tall glass of it, but that's about it. The bubblegum is throwing me off just a little bit of it. I do like how light it is, though. It does feel, not that any of them that we've had so far are heavy in the mouth, but this one definitely tastes lighter than the other ones. So that's good. But I don't know. There's just something's just not striking me, but it's not hitting the chord that I want to hit.
No, it makes sense, and I think it's a lot of saisons for a lot of people. I think that again, each individual saison is so different than the others.
Yeah.
And when you have whatever yeast expression is happening is going
Right.
to be kind of what makes or breaks that beer for a
And
person.
I've run into saisons that I'm like, I want to bathe in it.
Yeah, I
And
think you prefer the more peppery forward ones.
and and I like some of the clove end of it, but the bubble gum just kind of, and I like that in some beers, but it's just the combination of it with this is what's making it a little weird for me.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I think a bomber would be there. I would probably have 2 glasses of it.
Which one do we do next? The Blue Point?
Yeah, the Mother Pumpkin Ale.
Yeah.
I've seen this so many times, and just based on the label itself, I've wanted to try it.
I don't think I've ever seen it before, honestly.
I mean, this year. I don't think I've seen it before this year. I just
okay.
mean, like, as we've been getting towards the season, I've seen it in the supermarkets and stuff.
So my brother and now my sister-in-law came over yesterday, Saturday, brought a lasagna, which was awesome.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And so I cracked open a couple of these for. I cracked open one of each, the voodoo one, the atomic pumpkin, and this one, and I just handed my brother one. I go, try a sip of each, whichever one you don't want, I'll drink. And he went with the atomic pumpkin, and I went through one of these, and I downed it pretty fast, and ended up coming right back for another one because I think it's really tasty. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm going to finish the saison real quick, so you guys can talk about this for a second while you drink it.
The aroma on this is it's a little denser. It's a little heavier on my nose, and kind of a stone fruit type sweetness I get from it.
Yeah, it definitely has like a raisin prune-ish aroma to it.
Not a lot of spice, maybe a little bit of clove on the nose.
Yeah, it's there low in the background. Their website doesn't really give specifics. It just says pumpkin and spices.
Yeah, color-wise, again, we're looking at a deep copper. Not as clear as some of the other ones, a little on the cloudy side. White head. The flavor-wise, I don't know if anyone else agree. It's very clove heavy for me. Maybe not clove. Maybe it's nutmeg. I'm not very good at picking
I think it's
spices.
nutmeg. I don't think it's clove. It is also, like, especially coming off the FM pumpkin, the body on this is super full, whereas the FM pumpkin is very light bodied.
It's definitely the fullest body we've had so far.
And I gotta say, that's one of the parts of it that I really like. Like, listen, But
thick beers need love too.
Yeah, exactly. Big body beers need love too.
Yes, I agree though with you. I do enjoy
I
it.
like the body to it. I like the mouthfeel of it. That you can feel it's there. It's got a little bit of the spicy. It's a little bit sweet, but like I feel like it's also just really easy to drink.
Yeah,
like,
especially for the level of body on it, it doesn't hinder the.
Like you kind of it gives you that pumpkin beer flavor, and then it just goes down easy.
And that's a fair point. A beer made with pumpkin, again, thinking of a pumpkin is a dense.
It's a starchy
thing.
vegetable. Like
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it doesn't. That there isn't more like starch proteins that come out that. If you include that in there, like, again, maybe some do and some don't, but I would think that would happen. You would add you would boil, if you put it in a boil, that you would get the starches start to extract, and that would thicken things up, but I really don't know.
That's the only thing I would think you would get from pumpkin,
if
but
you
I just
added
generally
it to
don't
the
see
boil
it.
after the mash,
Yeah.
you definitely would get carryover of starches.
But there was an article that Newsday posted, or I don't know if they posted it, I think they posted it on like Friday.
Yeah, I saw that online.
Po' Boy actually.
Po' Boy linked it out there.
1940s too.
Yeah, which were both mentioned in the article, and it was talking about Long Island pumpkin beers and just in general, and it's a good, really quick read. It's like a 2-second read.
Yeah.
But I thought they gave a really good definition of pumpkin beers in there, and then they kind of like classified like which one is which. And the Blue Point one, they said this is the beer for everybody. Like this is the everybody pumpkin beer, and I think that really is what it is. Like it's just enough of the flavor to give you the feeling of a pumpkin beer, but not enough spice to kind of turn anybody off.
Yeah.
It's the moderate milquetoast conciliatory, candidate for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. I had mentioned on the West Hampton one that the amount of spice in it, I wanted a little bit more punch, and this is even more subdued than that. And it's not that it's a bad beer. I'm finding it one note to the nutmeg. Like I'm not really getting any complexity to it. I love the body of it, but other than that, there's not much. I don't even really get a lot of sweetness from the malt in the flavor, like a little bit, but I'm really just kind of getting that one spice.
There's like a little bit of a weird prickliness on like as like an after feel.
Yes.
And I don't know what that's from.
You know what I really think that's from? I think that's from the Saison that we just had in the glass before, because I don't remember that.
No, I don't think so.
I'm kind of experiencing a similar thing, and it's not tasting the same as when I had it.
Is there anything in the bottle still?
No, I finished it.
All right.
It's not tasting the same as when I had it just 2 days ago.
Well, that may be true, but I definitely
That might just be my glass.
I wasn't getting prickliness from drinking the effing pumpkin.
No, I'm saying it's just like
expect.
I don't know. I think it's just I thought it might be like a combination of the two or
I
something.
think it might be from that one particular spice. And again, I don't want to make it seem like it's bad. It's not.
No.
I finished it. Like I would drink another one right now.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I have this sensation,
Yeah.
and I don't know what to attribute it to.
I would bet it's from the spice. 'Cause I remember my pumpkin beer that was a spice bomb, in particular clove, as we mentioned before. I had a similar reaction to that when I drank it. I had a very tongue feeling.
I remember yours being aggressive.
Yeah, it was very aggressive.
Being very aggressive and not super
It was
enjoyable.
also like the third beer I ever made, so I'm okay with it.
It wasn't super enjoyable,
No.
but it was very aggressive.
he like shared me the recipe. I'm like, you sure you want to use that much? He was
Yeah.
like, I found this recipe. I'm just gonna brew it. Like, I'm not changing anything.
Listen,
I'm like,
you got to do it. And make
okay.
it, you got to do it.
Well,
and
look,
learn
and you know what? My goal was achieved. I learned a lesson from it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If I hadn't done it and it wasn't enough, I would be confused. I know where the barrier is now. I know how far we can go.
You only find the line once you cross it.
Exactly, and I certainly crossed it with that god awful beer.
So for this one, I think their analysis of it being the pumpkin beer for everybody, exactly what happens. Like when you get the something for everybody, it's never the greatest, but it's something that's acceptable to everybody. And I think this kind of hits that note, and it's pretty good. I like it. Like, I think I would put this one probably at a bomber. Like, I could put down 2 of these, and I did, and it was really pleasant. And at 5.5, like,
yeah,
it's no big deal, and it's kind of yay pumpkin.
is that the official rating?
Yes,
The
yay
bomber?
pumpkin. Yeah, bomber, yay pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
Bomber, yay pumpkin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a pint on it. I'm
There's
almost.
scare quotes around the ale. Sorry, I had to share that.
That's fine. I'm almost at a bomber with it, but I'm gonna stay with the pint. It's a little one note for me. I love the body on it. I wish that if we could take the body of this along with the spice of the West Hampton, I think we would be much higher.
As far as scare quotes, that just makes me think. Like, I feel that our work will be done when relatives of mine stop asking me if something is a beer or an ale.
Okay.
Well,
we got a lot of
I
work
feel
to
like
do.
our work will never be done.
I was going to lean more on the fact that thankfully your relatives are a little older now.
Generally speaking, I don't think that it's going to be us that fixes that problem.
Yeah, it's going to take a bit more. So what is this? Is this
That
the?
just reminded me of like a really old robot chicken segment where it's a couple old guys sitting on a park bench, and one turns to the other and says, "Well, we'll be dead soon."
Yeah.
If you enjoyed Beertastic Voyage, please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to review and rate us. The guys can be found online at www.beertasticvoyage.com, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/beertasticvoyage, and Twitter and Instagram at Beertastic Show, or send them a good old-fashioned email at beertasticvoyage@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers for local beers.